What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another Football Manager 2022 rebuild challenge. In this series so far, we've already rebuilt Newcastle, potentially the richest club ever seen in football, and today we have a slightly different challenge. This one is at the opposite end of the scale, and as I'm sure you've guessed by the thumbnail and by the title of the video, we will be rebuilding Barcelona, who are in £1 billion worth of debt. Now, there is a little caveat for this one as well. I will not be spending a penny until we potentially eclipse that debt. We will not be buying any single player at all, not even on a free transfer. We won't be going out, we won't be spending any money. We have to, all the players we use will either be at the club and I can negotiate new deals for them, or they will come through the club's youth academy and youth setup. We will be trying to restore Barcelona to their financial glory and not be in anywhere near as much debt. So without any further ado, guys, let's jump into it and we can take a look at the financial situation at Barca at the start of the game. Right then, of course, I am doing this on the beta version of the game still thus far. At the time of recording, the main game is not out yet, but everything else is pretty much as you would expect. This is Barcelona's current state of affairs: £942,454,702 worth of net debt, and that is broken up into a lot as well. They've also got 8.2 million of transfer debt, but this is how the debts are supposedly broken out. They've got an original debt to the bank of 654 million, of which they have 294 million left. That is payable at 2.7 a month, which is not too bad. There's a state loan as well, of which there's 26 million remaining at a cost of 195k a month, so you'd like to think that we would be able to get rid of that one relatively quickly. And then another one here, another bank loan with 509 million remaining on it, with the remaining interest payable being 109 million in interest. Makes me so sad. They're paying 2.6 million a month on that, and as you can see on the right hand side, it runs until the 11th of August 2041. Obviously we're going to try and inject as much cash into this team, into this club, as humanly possible and reduce that number. I'll try and show you the figure each month, so you can kind of have a little look and see each month, each year, each save, each season, each season, so you can kind of see how we're getting on and what is sort of remaining. And then the final one is an additional bank loan. There's 15 million remaining on this one. Again, relatively straightforward, paying 140k on that one, and should be done in 10 years time. There's two smaller ones we will try and sort of get done as quickly as possible and try and get those ones paid back. But obviously we have a lot of issues. If we break into the finances overall, as you can see, the overall balance of the club is just over 10 million. We've got a teeny tiny transfer budget of 243k, of which I'm not going to spend one penny. And then obviously we have the wage budget here, which we are just about covered in terms of our current spending, which is 3.5 million. It's still a lot. We've still got some high earners in the squad. If we go into the squad and take a look at wages, we've still got Coutinho. Obviously, we've still got Griezmann, Dembele, Umtiti, Busquets, Jordi Alba, Frankie de Jong, who is probably one that I will still try and keep. Sergio Roberto, Memphis. There's a lot of these players who are on six figures. Gerard Piqué, Fati, Pjanic, Trincao, Ter Stegen, Aguero. There is a lot. There's a lot of work to do with this team, that is for damn sure. But we'll try and get there. It's a long-term thing. It's not going to be righted in a season. And then miraculously, after the 5 years, we've managed to sort of figure out the financial situation, and we've cleared the club's debt. Then we will start trying to buy players again. But as things stand, I don't see that happening in 5 years. In terms of things, though, we go into the club vision. Obviously, you know about the level of debt of Barcelona. What is expected of you if you become Barcelona manager? Reach the first knockout round of the Champions League, challenge for the La Liga title. I don't care about the Super Copa, and the Copa del Rey isn't listed on here just yet. And work towards becoming the most reputable team in the world. At the moment, I think that needs to go on pause. I think that needs to go on hold. I don't think it's possible. Whilst we're trying to rebuild the financial damage, which conveniently is not an objective, is to repair the financial damage, which is crazy. Obviously, the club culture, play attacking football, play possession football, play entertaining football, develop players using the club's youth system. Don't worry, we will be doing that, and play a high tempo pressing football. Obviously, this is kind of what Xavi is going to have to deal with now. He's kind of got this squad and not a lot of money to spend. It's going to be all down to how he plays and how he can develop the squad and get the best out of it. And I wish him luck. Obviously, we're at the start of our journey. We go into the tactics, and this is kind of what I'm going to look at playing. If I just quick pick without restriction, if I just pop my best 11 in there, this is kind of where we're looking. Obviously, I can't have Griezmann there because he is on loan, isn't he? So let's switch these two over. So this is probably what I'd be running. Ter Stegen in goal, Mingueza at right back, Araujo is how I'm going to say this dude's name. I apologize if I get that wrong. PK, Alba, Busquets, Frankie de Jong, Dembele, Pedri, Fati, and then Aguero up top. The reason I've done this in this particular stance, obviously, yes, it is a 4-2-3-1. We are playing vertical tiki-taka, as you kind of would expect from a Barcelona team. But instead of having these two guys in central midfield, I wanted them sat much deeper. And the fact that Frankie de Jong can play there as a CDM as a deep line playmaker, I think that's perfect for what we need right now. We need to be solid defensively and then kind of hope that the flair players at the top end of the field can get things done. We all know about this Barcelona team. Obviously, we've got Yusuf Demir on loan. We've got Luke de Jong, again, on loan. Pjanic and Griezmann are out on loan, of course. But there's a lot of work to be done financially with this team. In terms of what I'm expecting to achieve this year, in the first season, definitely just qualify for the Champions League again next season. As I said, there's not going to be any transfer updates on the incomings. In terms of outgoings, I will keep you all up to date, but obviously these are the transfers that have already been done on the game before I even touch it. So let's run the simulation for season 1 and see how this new look Barcelona side gets on. Okay then, guys, so we finished season 1 and it's actually a pretty good season. I'm actually really happy with it. We managed to pick up the Super Cup, which is pretty good. Winning that one, we beat Atleti on penalties. Let's take a look and see what happened here in the penalty shootout. Hermoso missing the decisive one, and considering both teams had a player sent off, not too bad to win this one on pens. However, it looks like Atletico dominated this one. 7 shots and 3 on target for us, no goals scored. Ter Stegen having an absolute beast. 8.5 ratings, absolutely massive. Hermoso missing the decisive penalty. So we win the Super Cup. We are runners up in the Copa del Rey, again going to penalties. It looks like this team doesn't score a lot of goals, but I'm actually okay with that. And Memphis Depay being the guy missing the all-important penalty. It looks like, yeah, it doesn't look like we're creating an awful lot. 6 shots here, just 1 on target, and 7 and 3 for the opposition as well. So we seem relatively solid at the back with this team. Ter Stegen not playing in this one. Looks like he could be injured, which is really disappointing. But runners up in the cup is pretty good. I'm not actually too disappointed with that one. In terms of the Champions League, we were knocked out in the quarterfinals, at the quarterfinal stage, by Bayern Munich. 6-1 on aggregate, including a 5-0 thumping from the German champions in Germany. Lewandowski scoring a hat-trick, Sabitzer and Thomas Müller getting the goals there. Rather disappointing. Now I've looked at that. If it was closer, I'd be okay with that. But quarter-final stage, not too bad. And we were runners-up in the league, coming behind Real Madrid in season number 1. So let's expand this a little bit. Little bit not apprehensive, a little bit disappointed. 11 draws kind of just goes to show that this team isn't scoring enough goals. If you convert a couple of those draws into wins, we win the league. Like, it's not that difficult. Convert 3 of those draws into victories and the league is ours instead of it being Real Madrid's. A little bit disappointing. We got 4 losses in the season. Levante, Celta Vigo, Betis and Cadiz as well. So not even like we lost in the big games, which is really disappointing. It looked like we were relatively solid though, conceding 40, that's the goal difference. Conceding 29 goals, not too bad. 5 against Celta Vigo, wow. Not the best in the division. Obviously, we are trying to sort of negotiate some difficult times at the moment in terms of our finances. I think if Barcelona actually did finish the season second in La Liga right now, I think that would be a very, very good finish. Let's see what Xavi can do now. Obviously, he has been appointed as manager. In terms of that first season, though, not too shabby. Valencia finishing down in 10th is quite worrying. But if you look, what I will point out, guys, Araujo is my joint top goal scorer in the league alongside Luke de Jong with 9 goals. He's a centre-back, so I assume the set pieces are working. In the Champions League, Ansu Fati and Clément Lenglet, again, centre-back. And then in the Copa del Rey, Mingueza, who is a fullback / centre-back, also in the goal scoring. So it looks like we're pretty good off of set pieces, as you kind of would expect. We have technical players, we have players who can deliver the football into the penalty area. So we need to maybe take advantage of these set pieces. In terms of the development centre, though, there are obviously a few players that I am keeping an eye on. Comash, Collado is another one. Pena will probably get called up at some point to be my backup goalkeeper once I get rid of Neto. In terms of players that came through, I can't remember off the top of my head if there were any worldies that came through. Aaron Fernandez potentially could be a good little player, but he's only 15 at the moment, so you know, towards the end of this save could be when some of these youngsters actually make it through. Nico Takahashi against, oh, he's a real player. Okay, my bad. Just these 15-year-olds, and Aaron Hernandez and Alex Corral are the ones that were signed. Again, nothing breathtaking. But yeah, that's kind of by the by with the under-19s and sort of what's happened. Obviously, we've got some players here that we're going to be trying to move on. The ones I'm looking at are the high earners in terms of wage. If I can get rid of Coutinho and Griezmann, that'd be fantastic. Ousmane Dembele's contract expires in at the end of June at the end of the first season. I will not be renewing it. And then I will be trying to offload some of these others. I think I'm going to keep Busquets. I think I'm going to keep Alba, just because they're sort of part of the hierarchy at Barca. I don't really want to upset them. But yeah, some of these others, if I can get rid of Coutinho and Griezmann, to be honest, I will be happy with that. And maybe Pjanic. Trincao coming back from Wolves on loan will be very, very good. Let's just see what we can do in season number 2's, well, the transfer window going into season number 2. Okay then, guys, so we are about to start season number 2, and I'm going to start you off with the finances first and foremost. Obviously, with that season that we just had, relatively decent run in the Champions League, getting through to the quarters, a decent showing in the league and the cup has really, really helped sort out our finances. And we are now down to a net debt of 587 million. So we've almost got rid of 400 mil here. And some of you guys are going to say, Steve, how on earth have you managed that? I will talk you through that. It's been interesting. Our team's very different. In terms of the overall finances, though, as you can see, I've basically slid all the transfer money into the wage budget to try and arrange and top up this overall balance. By keeping things in the wage budget, we're making money each month. Based on the projections, so that's kind of why I'm trying to do this and sort of try and balance the books that way. If I were to slide some of this across and sort of have a transfer budget, wage budget near where we're looking at, as you can see, the wage budget is relatively comparative now to what we're actually spending, and that would give us 65 million to spend in the transfer market. We're not doing that, so that's why I'm keeping it all as wages. Obviously, there is the thing at the end of the first season, I could have gone and signed Kylian Mbappe. He is on a free transfer, but I feel that the wages that he would want would probably ruin this team even more, so I completely ignored it and just we've not picked anybody up. We have, however, sold some players. If we go into our transfer history, some of the business, I kind of did it relatively quickly. So it's kind of listed as last season. So we sold Coutinho. He has gone to Chelsea for £45 million, which is great. Great to offload Coutinho's wage off the books. He's now on 83k a week at Chelsea, which is absolutely ridiculous, but he's gone. He's not our problem anymore. Memphis Depay, we sold him to Roma, 27 million for Depay. Again, another player who I didn't really think was one I wanted to build this team around. There are a lot of players in the Barcelona team that I would rather use over Memphis Depay, so I've shifted him on and got some money for him before his contract ran out. Miralem Pjanic again has left the club. He has come back from his loan and is now gone. He is at Chelsea. Again, 32 years of age, not a player that I would use, so obviously offloading him. He's a nice little player, it's just not for me. So he's gone to Chelsea as well for 18 million. And I know what you're all going to say. I've been fleeced here, and I know I have, but I wanted him gone. Antoine Griezmann, who I personally, if you've watched anything on the channel, I think Antoine Griezmann is useless in FM. So he's gone. He is now at Manchester United. He's a Manchester United player. They picked him up for 38 million. So let's do some math. 30. Oh God, I can't do this math in my head. Let me get my calculator out. So we got 45 million for Coutinho. We got 27 million for Memphis. We got 18 million for Miralem Pjanic, and then 38 million for Antoine Griezmann. So 128 million pounds made in the transfer window, which obviously has really helped sort out some of this financial situation. We're replenishing the club. We're doing well in competitions, which is great. We've sold a lot of players, again, really good. But it's also coupled with the fact that they are off the wage budget is massive, absolutely massive, guys. You don't understand. Plus, we released Dembele as well. So I reckon the amount of money we saved ourselves in wages is huge. If we go into the tactic just before we get started, this is kind of where I'm at right now. Ter Stegen, Mingueza, Araujo, Lenglet, Alba, Busquets. Nico is in here at the moment, but obviously we've got Frankie de Jong as well to sort of plop in there. Nico is one of the ones that I'm sort of trying to get some game time this year and hope that he sort of improves himself, really. Trincao obviously back on loan from Wolves. I don't know how he did in his first season. In his season at Wolves. Let's have a look. Played 38 games in the Premier League. Good development. And a 7 rating, which is great. I need someone like that in my team. I think Trincao looks fantastic. I hope he can develop a little bit more. But yeah, it looks very good. So the kind of 3 behind Aguero is going to be Trincao, Pedri, and Ansu Fati. And then obviously we've got Aguero up top, who is quite old now. He is 34 years of age, is Sergio Aguero, but he's still better than Martin Braithwaite. After that, it's probably going to have to be a Comash or Gavi or Fati going up front. So we'll just have to see. Obviously, we're going to try and make the most of our set pieces as well, and trying to work on those and hone that craft a little bit in terms of set pieces. In terms of the club vision, this is kind of what's expected. They are delighted that we are developing players using the club's youth system. Obviously, they don't know that that's what I'm doing as part of this video, but there we go. Working within the wage budget, we are definitely doing that. In terms of competitions, though, first knockout round of the Champions League, qualify for the Champions League via La Liga, and the Super Cup, they do not say is important. If we go into La Liga, just out of curiosity, after the season preview, now we've sort of, yeah, I thought that might happen. Now we've played around with a lot of things. We're 5-1 to win the league. Real Madrid are the favourites to win the league. We've only got 3 players in the Media Dream 11, which is not the end of the world. But with the way that we're trying to take this Barcelona team, we're investing into youth, we're trying to sort out the finances. I'm actually happy the fact that they think we're going to finish 3rd, and it looks like a comfortable 3rd to Villarreal as well. So let's simulate season 2, and we will see how this young, new look Barcelona gets on. So guys, end of season 2, and we've kind of dropped off a little bit, as you kind of would expect. We are down in 4th. We have secured Champions League football for yet another year, but to be honest, this was always going to be the interesting one, considering the drop off in player current ability that we're kind of working with. 75 points on the league season, not too bad. 82 points for champions Villarreal, who have won La Liga. Villarreal, then Valencia, Real Madrid, and then ourselves. Not the best season. Ansu Fati is the top goal scorer for Barcelona. Trincao, having returned from Wolves, 13 assists for him is pretty good. 2 friendly cups we're not going to talk about, obviously. Knocked out in the quarterfinals again of the Champions League, this time by Liverpool. 3-2 in this. We drew 0-0 on the first leg, and then at home, unfortunately, lost to Liverpool. I will say, I will call on this team a little bit. Ilyas Akomash, starting in the Champions League quarterfinals, aged 19, is sub-ideal. Alongside Nico, he's quite young as well. So we've had a tough time of it. Mo Salah, Fabinho, and Virgil van Dijk getting the goals. And I don't know if you guys clocked it here. Luka Modric is in this Liverpool team. So Liverpool have managed to pick up Luka Modric, which is great, and Damsgaard, which is fantastic. Just Liverpool doing Liverpool things, just getting better constantly season on season, but knocked out in the Champions League quarterfinals. It's not the end of the world for this young Barca team. Knocked out in the 4th round of the Spanish Cup by Atletico Madrid, which, considering Atleti were all the way down in 8th in the league, is not too bad. Who actually won this, just out of curiosity? Real Madrid beat Villarreal in the final. Yikes. And we did win the Super Cup again. We beat Real Madrid in the final of that one. So there are some promising signs on this team, but nothing to really write home about in terms of Season 2. Ansu Fati with the first goal in the first half, and then Martin Braithwaite with the second final nail in the coffin for Real Madrid. So Season 2 wasn't too bad. Obviously, it is the new look youth Barcelona that we are trying to adapt and trying to get in fourth in the league's quite vital for us. It means that we secure Champions League football for Season 3, and that's kind of the main goal, is sort of try and win what you can, but also maintain that Champions League status so that you keep the income coming in. So fingers crossed we can move a few more players on in this transfer window and take a look at the finances before we start Season 3. Okay, so we are here ready to start season number 3. It is August 2023, and this is the current state of the finances going into the start of season 3. We have a net debt now of 452 million. Things are definitely going in the right way. Obviously, as you can see, the original debt here, 1.21 billion, and the remaining of that is 700 million. We're working our way. We're working our way through it, making those payments, getting things paid up as quickly as humanly possible. If we go into the summary again, I've slid everything into that wage budget. As you can see, we've got a wage budget of 7.1 million pounds, but we're actually spending 3.2 million on wages each week. If I slide that across, as you can see, it still gives me a buffer of 1.4 million a week on wages and a transfer budget of 164 million, which again is the stipulation. We are not using it, but as you can see, the finances are definitely moving in the right direction there. 300 million in the balance. It dropped down towards 149 million towards the end of the season. Now we're back up. Now we've had the TV revenue at 357, so it's the highest it's been for a long time. In terms of the transfers and the transfer history though, guys, did we move any other players on? Yes. All on free transfers though, so no real major moves there. The ones that you guys will need to know about, I suppose, are Samuel Umtiti has left us for Rennes. He has gone, another player on expensive wages off the books. He has gone over to the French side, having not played at all for us last year, so his contract expired. He has gone, and I'm quite happy with it. In terms of this season though, no additional ins or outs. Obviously we're not signing anybody, but no additional outgoings. If we go into the tactic first and foremost, this is kind of where we're looking now. As you can see, some of the players actually growing into their own. Araujo's doing pretty well. Frankie de Jong's up to a 4.5-star player as well. Trincao and Pedri at 4s as well. Ansu Fati up top, doing well. I'm actually happy that Alex Collado has come into the team as well. He actually looks quite tidy, can play much the same as Pedri in any of those 3 spots behind the front man and at central midfield. I think he's developing quite nicely. Another one I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to was Nico. He had a good season for us last year. 29 appearances, averaged that 7 overall. He didn't really impact the game in terms of goals or assists, but good consistent performances at a 7. I am actually quite happy with that. And we made a couple changes, but this is pretty much the starting 11 now then. Ter Stegen, Mingueza, Araujo, Langley, Dest. It's either Dest or Alba. They sort of kind of go in and out. Remember, Jordi Alba's quite old now. Busquets and De Jong, Trincao, Pedri, Collado, and then Ansu Fati. No real depth down here now. Obviously Aguero is gone as well, so that depth at striker is quite bad. Ansu Fati's going to have to score the goals. Fati, Akomash are the ones that we're going to lean on, and Martin Braithwaite still here is probably that 3rd option. In terms of what is expected going into season 3, obviously we've kind of halved the debt at this point. They're disappointed in some of the financial implications of some of the transfers that we've done. I've also released Neto as well. They're disappointed that we've not signed the players under the age of 23 for the first team, but that's because I've not signed anybody, of course. We are developing players using the club's youth system, so these kind of balance each other out, I would say. Work within the wage budget, we're absolutely smashing that. Maintain the best youth system in the country. I cannot put money into the club's youth system because I don't want them to spend money on facilities. Become the best team, most reputable team in Spain. We're still working on that, growing the reputation. In terms of competitions though, reach the first knockout round of the Champions League, qualify for the Champions League in the league, and then they've given me a stipulation for the Copa del Rey. They want me to reach the final. So we've won some silverware in each of the seasons. Fingers crossed we can continue that into season number 3. Let's simulate. Season 3 is potentially the most disappointing one so far. We did finish in 4th in the league, so that does secure Champions League football for season number 4, which is pretty good. I will look at the Champions League in a second because I have no idea what happened here. It looks like the finals about to be played between Liverpool and Manchester United. We were runners-up in the Spanish Cup, losing that to Atleti 2-0 in the final, and then in the Super Cup, losing that one on penalties to Valencia as well. Rather disappointing season. It looked like it could have been relatively positive. Let's jump into the schedule and see what happens in that Champions League. So we go through the Champions League group, and first knockout round we take on AC Milan, and we get knocked out 0-0 at home, and then we lose 1-0 away at the San Siro. Rather disappointing. Pretty good start to the season, and then things sort of fall apart towards the end. These back-to-back losses, not great. A draw against Celta, 3 losses in a row, including the Copa del Rey final, and then finishing the season in La Liga with 4 draws on the spin. Not the best end to the season by any stretch. And the first season that we've not actually won a trophy, which is really, really disappointing. I kind of wanted to win a trophy in each of the years, even if it was the Copa del Rey. As you can see though, guys, we're up in first all the way through, and then it kind of just falls apart and falls off a cliff towards the end, and Real Madrid storm through and win the league. Ansu Fati, top goal scorer for us. Trincao, most assists again. Ansu Fati, Lenglet, and Pedrola as the goal scorers in the Champions League, and then Ansu Fati doing the business. Ansu Fati actually looking like a real good player this year. I bought him in the Barcelona rebuild, in the Newcastle rebuild towards the end from Barcelona, and he didn't look as good as this. So maybe he didn't play as much as I've been forced to play him. In terms of all competitions though, this, as I said, this is the most disappointing of the season, season number 3. So let's see what we can do and see how the finances look going into season number 4. Okay, it's season number 4, down to just 313 million or 314 almost million worth of debt. We have definitely put a dent into this financial chasm that Barcelona find themselves in as we are about to go into season number 4. It's the 12th of August 2024. This financial situation, we are working really hard on it again. Everything over into the wage budget. We've got an 8.6 million pound a week wage budget. If we slide things over the other end, let's go. 3.2 million would give us 277 million pounds to spend on transfers, which obviously we're not going to do. We'll leave it there. Transfer budget of 0. Wage budget of 8.6 million. The overall budget and balance of the account at the moment is positive 417 million pounds, which is great. As you can see, we're moving in the right direction, guys. We are almost getting rid of that Barcelona debt. I don't think it will happen this season. I think it'll probably take 6 or 7 years. If you are sort of as stringent as I am, if you go out and sign players, I don't think you will be able to clear it within 10. In terms of transfers, has anything happened? I honestly cannot remember. No, not really. Aaron Fernandez has gone out on loan, and we sold Puig to Sassuolo. Any other additional transfers? No. So again, we're not really making money. We are selling players. We are slimlining that wage budget, and we're trying to just be as successful as humanly possible, really. Again, in terms of the team and the tactic, hasn't really changed at all. This is kind of what we're running here. Obviously, we've had a couple players retire. I think Alba's gone now. Has he gone? Yes, Alba's gone. We've also had Busquets go. So we're lacking sort of that experience factor. But as you can see, though, the players that we do have in certain positions are really, really doing very nicely. And in terms of their role and their ability, they've definitely grown into it. 4 stars for Ter Stegen is kind of expected. Mingueza up to a 4-star fullback. He's actually been very, very consistent for us all throughout. And I think as you can tell, he's actually a really good defender. Sneaky good defender from him, actually, and he's been very, very good for us all the way through, averaging over a 7 in his career, which is brilliant. Not really impacting the game in front of goal, but in terms of his defensive abilities, considering he can play centre back as well, I think this is a very, very good pickup. Obviously, he's slightly unhappy. I'm trying to negotiate a new deal with him. Araujo's a 4-star, Lenglet is a 3.5-star, Frankie de Jong is a 4.5. Trincao has developed nicely. He's now valued at 92 to 101 million. He's developed really, really nicely. He's a 4.5-star player as well. Pedri's at 4, Ansu Fati's at 4. This team is good. We're young, but we're good. We're at the best level that I think we've ever been at going into season 4. I'm happy. We don't really have a lot of depth, so I'm probably going to have to bump up some of the younger players as well into the first team. I'm sure some of you guys are going to want to know what some of our youngsters look like. To be perfectly honest, guys, not a huge amount of good talent have come through. This is probably the best as of last year's intake. And then Jean Moral is probably the best player that we've had come through. But again, not really first team ready. Trequartista, not really what I'm looking for up front. But yeah, he's probably the best prospect that we've had come through the youth setup so far. But as I said, rather disappointing. This guy, again, is probably another decent level, but he might get a call up to the first team, potentially. In terms of the club vision and what is expected, the sort of club culture hasn't really changed at all. They are devastated that we've not signed players under the age of 23 for the first team. It's not that we've signed oldies. It's not that we've signed oldies, it's just that we've not signed anybody. But they are obviously delighted with the fact that we're developing the club's youth system. In terms of everything else, though, Champions League, first knockout round, pretty straightforward, guys. This is the same every year now. Qualify for the Champo and reach the final of the Copa del Rey. And then they want us to win La Liga as of next year. So that's going to be the interesting factor. Obviously, the monetary side of things is going pretty well. So let's simulate season 4 and see how this Barcelona team can get on. I really think we can push on and win some silverware this year. Okay, it was the end of season 4 and La Liga is ours. 86 points is our highest points return so far. And we have won the Spanish league. It's taken 4 seasons to kind of right that financial wrong and 4 years to get back to the top of the tree in La Liga. Ansu Fati, top goal scorer with 19 goals in the league and 11 assists for Trincao. We also picked up the Spanish Super Cup as well, which is fantastic. Knocked out in the quarters of the Spanish Cup by Valencia, knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League yet again by Liverpool, this time 8-2 on aggregate. We just can't hold on to Liverpool, to be perfectly honest. Let's have a look at the Liverpool team and see what's happened here. Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Gvardiol, Theo Hernandez, Fabinho, Henderson, Rodri, Salah, Mane, Roberto Firmino. What are you supposed to do with this? This Liverpool team's crazy. We go out 8-2 on aggregate. Into the quarterfinals, so again, not too bad. Another Super Cup win. In the final, we managed to put away Real Madrid in extra time, thanks to a goal from Ansu Fati from the penalty spot. Love to see it. Again, the team looking pretty good here. I've actually been impressed with, not in this game, but Collado looks like he's developed into a pretty solid player for Barcelona. And we've also had the development of Trincao as well. Not on the bench here. Where are you, Trincao? Maybe he was injured for this one. Didn't actually play in it. Trincao's been very, very good for us, though. Developing incredibly well. Look at him. Great corners, great dribbling, great first touch, amazing long shots, great passing, can take a penalty, 18 technique, mentally really, really good. Solid enough physically, 6 foot. This guy's a monster. I would imagine in most normal states he's going to get released by Barcelona. Please sign him. Just please sign him. But La Liga secured. Let's expand this one a little bit and actually take a look at the league from start to finish. So Ansu Fati was the highest goal scorer in the league. which is great. Trincao doing very, very well. 19 clean sheets for Ter Stegen as well, which is fantastic to see. Just really, really grinding these results out. We lost 4 times all season. Villarreal, Celta Vigo, Real Betis, and Atletico. Only conceded 27 goals. This is where we win the league, guys, by being solid defensively. This is where we win the league. And as you can see, Frankie de Jong up to a 5-star player now. The 3 behind the striker, Trincao, Pedri, and Fati, all 4.5 stars. Azar, Mingueza, and Araujo. This team is stacked now. Going into season 5, I actually expect us to do really, really well again. I'd be very disappointed if we did not retain the league. Fingers crossed we can get nearer to sort of sorting that financial situation out. I'll be back at the start of season 5, guys. Okay then, guys, so this is the start of season number 5, and this is the best we can do in terms of the debts that Barcelona have. We still have a net debt of £186 million, which, as you will know now, that means we weren't able to sign any players in this save. But to be honest, I've been really enjoying using the academy prospects and the players that have come through. I've actually still only used real players. I've not used any new gens as of yet. And I'm really, really enjoying this, and actually paying this money back is actually quite nice to see. Imagine the financial position that I would be in this Barcelona save. If we managed to clear this debt, we will be able to push on and start signing players again. It would be fantastic. But this is the last season that we're going to do on this rebuild, guys. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you want to see any more of this. But this is where we are. 186 million remaining of the 950 or whatever it was at the start of the video. We definitely made some really good progress here. If we go into their financial summary, the overall balance is 468 million. Again, this is the highest it's been. It sort of gets to a point and then sort of drops down as the season goes on, as we're paying our debts back and not making money again, and then the TV money comes in and it bumps it right back up. In terms of the budget adjustment, I cannot adjust the budget anymore. We're currently spending 4.1 million on wages. Obviously, this is inflation. We are sort of looking after ourselves quite nicely, and some of the players that we do have are actually on relatively big contracts now. But we do have a wage budget of 8.4 million, so we are drastically underspending. And even with the wage budget all the way slid across to the left hand side, we still got a transfer budget of 137 million, which again I am not spending. So yeah, financially, Barcelona are in an infinitely better state than a lot of clubs in Football Manager as of this point. In terms of the transfers, though, let's have a little transfer update. We've kind of lost a couple of our youngsters. But they're not showing here. Let me go into the transfer center. So Jean Moral, who I mentioned previously, he is off to Manchester United. I didn't realize his contract was expiring. Oh, no, sorry. That's the dude who's going to PSG. Aaron Hernandez, I didn't realize his contract was expiring, so he could be on his way to PSG soon. And then Moral has been bought by Manchester United. As I was simulating through the season, I didn't realize I came back at the end of the season, and he was already agreed to join Man U, which is really disappointing. So he goes to Manchester United on the 2nd of the 1st, 2026. So in January of this season. Looks like he could be a really, really good player in the future. Obviously, he's only 17 at the moment. But could be a good one, but obviously we're not going beyond this season, so it kind of is what it is, really. The tactic, again, nothing has really changed here. We are playing Ilias Akomash as the striker. We got a little bit more depth here. Some of the youngsters have sort of come through, joining from Barcelona B, but this is what we're sort of looking at for the season. Ter Stegen, Mingueza, Araujo, Eric Garcia, Dest, Nico alongside De Jong, Trincao, Pedri, Fati, and Ilias Akomash. Obviously, we are in all of these competitions. La Liga, we've got the Champions League, we've got the Super Copa, and we've also got the Spanish Cup that comes in much, much later on in the season. In terms of the club vision, though, they kind of want us to be the most reputable team in Spain. We are doing that. Develop players using the club's youth system. Again, we're doing that. They want us to sign high reputation players, but not yet, guys. It's not there. We're within the wage budget. Obviously, we're at half of the wage budget right now. And in terms of the competitions, they want us to reach the knockout round of the Champions League, qualify for the Champions League through the league, and again, the Super Cup is not important, but there we go. I think I would be disappointed if we didn't win La Liga this year. Obviously, as previous holders, if we go into the season preview going into season 5, Real Madrid are still the favourites to win. We've got a few players in here as the sort of media dream 11, De Jong, Pedri, and Trincao. There's still Real Madrid players in here: Militao, Courtois, Alaba, and Vinicius Jr. Two Atleti players in Jimenez and Lamar, and this guy. Jeremy Pino is a beast this year. Go out and sign him if you can prize him away from Villarreal. I wish you luck. He's a very, very good player. He's 22. If I were signing players in this Barcelona rebuild, I would have bought him. But alas, we didn't manage to fix the financial woes inside 5 years. So we are second favourites to win La Liga, but I'd be very disappointed if we didn't retain it. I'll see you at the end of the season, guys. So then, guys, season 5 is done, and I don't know what I can say. Let's just bring you back so you can see the full picture. We are winners of the league. We won the Champions League in season 5. I told you this Barcelona team was good if you give them a few years. And we also won the Copa del Rey. So this is the treble. This is as good as it pretty much gets. We didn't win the Super Cup, but I'm not too worried about that, considering how well we performed in the other competitions. So let's go through them one at a time. In the Spanish Cup, penalty victory over Valencia. I don't know if we deserve this. Let's have a look at the game. Probably not in terms of chances. Looked like Valencia were doing pretty well there, but Quaresma missing the penalty for Valencia. Trincao, Fati, Gavi, Collado, Balde, and Nico getting the job done for us from the spot. Ter Stegen looking like he'd had another good game there. Fair play. Valencia look like they could be a team again, could be a force. They did knock us out in the Super Cup, but that's not the end of the world. The league, we comfortably ran out winners, 14 points clear of Getafe in second with 85 points. In terms of league position, if I expand this table, so we've got 85 this season, we got 86 last season. And yeah, these are our best points totals, and 85 points would have won us the league every single season except from last year. So we did very, very well. Scored 94 goals in the league, lost 5 times. Celta Vigo were our Achilles heel. It seemed like we just could not get past Celta Vigo. But again, as I said, winning the league by 14 points is brilliant. I'm really, really happy with that return. Trincao top goal scorer in the league, Ansu Fati second. Trincao also with the most assists, so 36 goal contributions from this absolute beast in one season. Unreal. So he had 33 appearances in all competitions, and he got 45 goal contributions. As I said, in a normal save with Barcelona, I think Trincao will end up getting released. Sign him, please go and sign from Francisco Trincao. Very, very good player. Okay, so the league. Let's talk Champions League then. Let's go into the schedule and we'll sort of break it down competition by competition. So let's take all the competitions off and we will add in the Champions League. So this is what happened. Group F. We're in a group with Chelsea, Shakhtar, and Napoli. We go through second behind Chelsea. 3 victories, 2 draws, drew at home and away to Shakhtar, and we lost away 7-0 to Chelsea. 7. Oh, they've got Haaland, Laporte, Mason Mount, Vlahovic, and Susic. Okay. Oh, and Dest got sent off at 1-0. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. So we lose. We lost 7-0 in the group game, and we won it. We lost 7-0 in the groups to Chelsea, but we go through in second. Then we take on Young Boys, beat them 4-0 at home, and then lose 2-0 away in Switzerland. As Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will attest, it is not easy to beat this team. After that, PSG in the quarterfinals, drawing 0-0 away at the Parc des Princes, and then winning at home thanks to a Pedri penalty in the 84th minute as well, guys. We then take on Liverpool. We are 3-0 down after the first leg away from home. Rodri, Declan Rice, and Diogo Jota. How many CDMs do you need, Jurgen Klopp? You've got Fabinho, you've got Rodri, and now you've bought Declan Rice as well. But we win the home leg 4-0. Ansu Fati, Pedri, and Araujo getting the job done. 3 goals inside 10 minutes at the Camp Nou, which is absolutely ridiculous. Then the final was held, and we take on Real Madrid. We take on Manchester City, who have Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe puts them ahead on the 62nd minute from the spot. Ansu Fati, who else, equalises, and then they have an own goal, which wins us the Champions League in the 114th minute. Yikes. Let's have a look at this Champions League final a second. Let's expand it and take a look at the ratings and see what happened with the teams. Looks like on the balance of things, relatively even. They've got a higher XG, but they did have a penalty, so Yeah, I'm not really surprised. This was the team that started then. Ter Stegen, Dest, Araujo, Mingueza, Balde, De Jong, Gavi, Trincao, Pedri, Collado, Fati. Yeah, not too bad. The Manchester City team, on the other hand, Ederson, Pedro Porro, Upamecano, Hardwood, Baylis. Is this the other Hernandez? This is Lucas Hernandez, Barella, Valverde, Anthony, Foden, Sterling, and Kylian Mbappe. Wow, this team is crazy. Obviously, they've still got Grealish here, Ferran Torres. Timo Werner is on the bench for Pep Guardiola, I assume, still in the Champions League final. It's crazy FM world. Obviously, we are at the end of this journey, so I will be remiss to not show you the final stage of things. Obviously, this is the net debt at the moment. It's up to 300 million again, but as I showed you guys with the sort of balance of things, it sort of goes up and then drops off. As you can see, we've been increasing this nicely. We were at 468 million at the start of the season. And then we are now down at 309. I'd like to think once the TV money comes in for next season, we'll sort of be up in and around the 500 mil mark, and we would be under 100 million worth of debt. But this is as far as I can take Barcelona in this rebuild. Otherwise, we'd be sat here for over an hour, which I don't want to do. I appreciate all you guys who sit here and watch these videos all the way through. I do really appreciate it. If we go into the job history, though, this is what we've done. So second in the first season, and we picked up the Super Cup. Fourth in the season after that, in season number 2, and we picked up the Super Cup. Fourth in that third season, and no domestic trophies other than that. In season number 4, we managed to pick up the league and the Super Cup, and then in the final season, the 5th and final season, once all of Barcelona's young guns that they've got have actually developed, we managed to win it all. A very historic treble: the Champions League, La Liga, and the Copa del Rey. So guys, that is the rebuild of Barcelona without spending a penny. We didn't fix their £1 billion worth of debt, but we got pretty close. We did really well. I'm really happy with how this save turned out, and I'm ultimately happy with how we managed to win the league and win the Champions League with all the youngsters that are still at the club without making any massive additions. It goes to show the ability and the talent of the players at Barcelona is good enough for this to happen in the future. They just need to get everything right off the pitch. Now, in real life, it's over to Xavi to see if he can do this. Obviously, he's got an international break now to see if he can get something out of Barcelona, and then who knows what they can do for the rest of the season. But this is a good little barometer to see how well they can do if things are managed well enough off the pitch in terms of the finances. So I wish Xavi all of the luck. If you have enjoyed this rebuild, guys, please do drop a like on the video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. It really does mean a lot, as we are on the way to 10k subs. We are getting pretty close now. So thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you on another video very soon.